porch on a Friday night with our friends. Life is good. Come on by and take a chair or lean on the rail. Let's have laughter and remember fun times on the front porch. Rob and Dave always had the light on for fellowship and making memories. We will try and make you stay the best it can be. Yes, life is good. Sometimes life gets in the way. It's hard to smile on the front porch, but our friends remind us we are still here and care. Yes, life is good. Southern fried pop.
Well, welcome everybody to the show. I'm Rob. Let's see. That's Dave. We give us a proper try to publish the League Publishing. Are you there?
Oh, and we got Dewey. Okay.
You're on mute. You can't hear you when you're on mute. Jim Hardy Bischoff.
Oh, Cajun's here.
I just logged in.
We appreciate everybody
All
being
right.
here tonight. Me and Rob are echoing for some reason, not sure why. We're going to let you guys talk about your books. We're going to bring it up on a PowerPoint and go through some of them. But welcome everybody to Front Porch Talkin. We'll probably have some other folks stop in. And we appreciate you very much for coming in on the Southern Fried Podcast. We're fans of the books. What can I say?
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
That fun.
Well, okay. So for anybody that doesn't know what books he's talking about, today is release day on It Came from the Trailer Park, Volume 5. It's a collection of short stories. If you think about Bubba Hotep, Army of Darkness, Tucker and Dale versus Evil, Shaun of the Dead, you know, those cheesy B-rate comedy horror, this will be right up your alley because it's got that redneck twist. And, you know, they're honestly just fun because why not? And so far, everybody has been enjoying the hell out of them. We get to go off on little random tangents. We get to bring all those little stereotypes and the story beats that Southern folks, Appalachia, all that are known for.
Right. That's amazing.
You know,
There's Darren. Okay, so
with unexpected, you never know what you're going to get.
I know Darren's got some stuff going on with the youngins tonight. Can he go ahead and talk about his anchor story for Volume 5?
Absolutely.
He was nice enough to hook us up with the main story.
Hey, y'all.
Howdy.
Can y'all hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. We had about 2 huge bags of candy. We're working on distributing those to the nice children in the neighborhood. So I took a quick break to run upstairs and say hey to everyone. Hello.
Well, we're glad that you did.
Turn up the volume a little bit.
I'm a fat boy, so I don't need to be eating that candy and stuff. So
I was making sure to distribute every bit of it because I don't want it in my house.
yeah, you don't want your yard toilet paper either.
This is true.
Well, tell us about your story, Darren.
Sure. So I was asked I think at Chattacon, if I remember correctly, is there a bad echo?
Yeah,
I'm not getting one.
I don't know what it is, but we're having a little bit of echo. But go ahead, brother. It's not you. It was there before you came in.
Okay. Yeah, I was at Chattacon and was asked to do the anchor author for this. So I was trying to think of what I wanted to do. And I already write about April Sullivan, who is a necromancer for hire. She's a young woman who can raise the dead for a living. And so I thought, what would happen if April went up against a killer clown? And April lives in the D.C. area, so I had to get down in the weeds and find a good location in Washington, D.C. that I could blow up. And I found a pretty neat park that's next to a building, and most of the story takes place with them investigating a murder victim in this park, and then sort of tracking down this killer clown to a nearby parking garage. And then there's all kinds of necromancy and magic and darkness before the story resolves. But it was nice to write April again. She was the first an April Sullivan anthology story way back about 15 years ago was my very first publication ever. So it was nice to have her out in another anthology after all these years.
Well, I appreciate you jumping on board with us, man. I mean, you got a pretty good track record. So, taking the time out of your day to write a story for us, that's awesome.
Well, I really enjoyed writing that story. I hadn't written April in a little bit, and I was like, I'm gonna get back into April's head and see what she can do. And she never disappoints. People have asked me why I don't write April novels, and it's because it takes April about the length of a short story to figure out how to kill what she's up against.
Dude, I understand that because my first anthology sell was my Braxton character, and I'm working on the first novel, and it's hard, man. I've been used to doing it in 10,000 words.
It's hard to take something that you do as short stories and extend it out. And I also did the opposite for a different anthology that's coming up, where I took something that's a novel length thing and tried to do a story about one of the characters in a short. And I found that also challenging because I'm used to thinking of those characters as a longer form sort of story. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
But yeah, man, damn good story. And for anybody that doesn't understand, an anchor author, they're the top dog, and he's got the top billing on this anthology. I don't know if you guys can show that cover. And this time around, the sub theme for Trailer Park was Killer Clown. There we go.
Yep.
And Melissa Gay was awesome enough to do the cover art for us. She knocked that out in like a night.
That is a beautiful cover.
Yeah. She sent me an email one night, and the next morning I've got the rough cover already in my inbox. I'm like, what the hell?
That's something to behold.
And she had a blast doing it. I mean, I bought the actual artwork piece. She painted it on a piece of plywood about yay wide and yay tall.
I was going to ask if it was digital art or if it was physical art. It was physical art. That's beautiful.
Yeah, she hand painted that overnight, and I met her up in Nashville a couple weeks ago and picked it up from her.
Wow.
That is something.
So that's going to be hanging up in the house there before it's over with.
Hey, Brother William, do you have speakers on your computer?
Me?
No, I just got my earbuds in.
Okay. I thought maybe I was trying to figure out.
Mute yourself for a minute, William. Let's see if that's the echo.
All right. Can you hear us now?
I can hear you. Uh-oh, it's William.
Okay.
Maybe it's the earbuds. I'm not sure. Because they're wireless. I don't know, or Bluetooth or something. I'm not sure. But I
got my earbuds on too, but I don't quite hear an echo when I'm talking.
No, you're cool. But we appreciate all of you being on here. And, as much as we want to, this book came out today. I pre-ordered it. I love it. I've already started it. Thank you, Mr. Kennedy, and all the other people that are involved with the book. I love this series. I think they're fantastic. They crack me up. And I just think of so many things when I think of this series and the fun that it is for you guys and gals or whoever was involved. I just think that, I love artistry no matter what it is, if it's music or if it's, writing or whatever. And, where did the original idea for this series come from? If I asked that, I don't know if I've ever asked that before, but where did this germinate from? Where did this come from for the Trailer Park series? Anybody?
Hillbilly have to answer that one. I just jumped on the last one, number 4, and I co-edited on that one also. And who doesn't love a zombie Elvis on the cover? I mean, everybody comes by when I'm at the shows, they see that and they comment on that zombie Elvis.
That's the one that I started with.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my story in that one, I also had a story in there, the Carolina catfishing trip. And the thing about that story is about 90% of the funny stuff in there actually happened, with the boat almost sinking and my buddy with some of the stuff he said. All of that really pretty much happened.
Amazing. That is so cool. So
what about now? Do you have an echo?
I think we're good.
No.
Okay, I just totally dumped the earbuds.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
Well, Tim, tell us about your inspiration for. I mean, you said those things really happened, and what?
Yeah, a catfishing trip down to South Carolina, and like I say, we was in the boat, and it got a bunch of water in it that night. And if you read the story, it'll tell you about how it happened and so forth. I don't want to spoil that part of it. And my buddy is from Maine originally, so when he talks down south, people's heads turn. Sometimes I gotta warn him what to say and not to say.
Yeah,
right.
But yeah, it was just a blast putting it on down. And I grew up in central Kentucky in pretty redneck area, and my great uncle ran moonshines out of the knobs up to Louisville, Kentucky back in the day, and I've been around all that stuff, so it was really fun writing that.
I love the books because for me, I mean, somebody mentions Leonard Skinner playing on the radio or something like that, it just brings it on home for me. I mean, I'm all in because it's all stuff that I'm familiar with. By the way, give us a good redneck city out of Kentucky, because we do a redneck series in one of our shows. Give me a really big redneck city in Kentucky that you know of.
Well, it's a small city, but Raywick, Kentucky. I don't know if y'all ever heard of the Cornbread Mafia back in the day. Johnny Boone was running it, and the Bickett Boys, and Johnny Boone was on the run, hiding up in Canada for a long time until they finally got him up there after about 20 years on the run, and he just passed away in the last couple of years. Some of the Bickett Boys have went legal with the CDB oil now up in that area. But you want to talk about Raywick and watching where you step back in the day, Raywick, Kentucky.
Now, I'll go ahead and warn you. I'll warn you. When he talks about doing a redneck destination of the week, we're going to give him a hard time.
It's a comedy skit.
Go ahead and apologize ahead of time.
Well, Darren, continue on if you would, sir. Just tell us a little bit about you as an author. Have you done other works, or is this anything you might be working on now, or something that you want to talk about?
Sure. I have been writing since 2003 and publishing since the early 2011. I wrote my first book when I was deployed to Iraq back in OIF-1. And that's a set of books that's a magical chess game to decide the fate of the world. People become the pieces of the chessboard and fight for their lives. Since then, I finished that trilogy. I have a trilogy that's more of a paranormal mystery that I base on a bunch of different pieces of, believe it or not, Russian classical music. I did a young adult version of A Christmas Carol with a 17-year-old mean girl instead of a grumpy old man as my Scrooge. And my new series is kind of a little bit X-Men, a little bit Highlander, a little bit Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and the mythology of the world is all 80s pop music. And I'm working on book 4 of that one now. So that would be, I've written right at 10 novel length works, not counting all my April shorts and an anthology. So I'm kind of working on my 11th novel length thing right now. And I think that 80s series is going to be my dark, if you're familiar with Stephen King's Dark Tower series, that's going to be my long series, I think. And I'm hoping that I can get to the end of the 9 books that I have in my head.
Wow.
I understand.
I know that sounds like I write about the wackiest stuff, but that's what my brain wants to write about. So that's what ends up coming out of the keyboard.
Oh, but it's fun stuff, man.
And in fact, you can get it out of your head and share it with the rest of the world.
It's got to get out. It's got to get out. That's the whole point.
Awesome. Michael, let's bring you in. Let's we need to hear from Dewey and Michael as well.
Have any of y'all written any of the Joint Task Force 13 stuff? That's what I'm reading now, and I'm just enthralled with it. Y'all hadn't read any? Any of y'all wrote anything for that?
I don't think so.
I have.
No, I have not yet.
Oh,
that's cool. Well, Michael, what have you?
All right.
What have you written?
Damn it!
Let's get Michael in here. We can't hear you. No sound.
You might be muted.
No, he unmuted. Just
okay.
No sound. Let's let him.
Well, we can hit Mr. Dewey.
Yeah, Dewey, come on in here. I saw him flashing across the screen. Let's see if Michael can get his sound fixed. Dewey, come on in here and talk to us, brother.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Excellent. I apologize. I'm sitting in a car at the drive-in right now.
I love it. Hey, that could be a new series to drive in.
I'm doing a Dust Till Dawn Halloween marathon here at the Mahoning Drive-In in Lehighton, Pennsylvania. So that's where I am.
You know, there are worse places to spend a Friday night than the drive-in.
It's cold though. It's cold.
Oh yeah. Well, Dewey, what have you written?
I've mostly written short stories so far. And I was when I heard about the trailer park submission, I really wanted to get into this anthology, but I didn't have an idea for it. I was like, I don't know, clowns, I don't know, trailer parks, and what happens a lot of times when you don't have an idea, you take a shower, and then somebody starts talking in your head.
Yep.
And the main character of this story started talking in my head. And he was telling me about his life in the trailer park and the affair he was having with a girl. And the fact that there's a new guy had moved into the trailer park and he was a clown. And once I had his voice and I knew his story, then I had to figure out what the clown was up to. So then it became the clown goes to church. So what kind of religion does a clown have? And that's what powers the second half of the story. Don't want to give anything away, but
yeah,
it's not good intentions.
Well, I will say on the selection side and the editing side, as I was reading through the story, I wasn't sure what the hell I was getting into to start with. I'm like, where is this going? And then it's like, oh, and it gets effed up real quick. I mean, it goes down a rabbit hole so quick, man. It's just like, what the hell is going on? And you are on the run with them.
Wow.
Thank you.
Now, look, Darren, I know that you've got family stuff going on tonight, and I put a thing up there in the private chat. If any of y'all, after tonight, if any of y'all want to come back on the show,
yes,
and spend an evening with us, that's absolutely fine.
We would
I'll put my email address up there. Our email address was southernfriedpodcast@yahoo.com.
I am going to have to jet, but I just put my email in the private chat, and I'd be interested in coming back on. Just let me know. And thank y'all so much for having me, and nice to meet everyone that I don't already know. And Michael, I hope you get your able to able to speak here in a sec, but I'm going to run. And y'all have a real good night, okay?
Thank you,
You do
Darren.
the same. We appreciate
Take care,
it.
y'all.
You too.
See ya.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Now,
You know, it's Halloween.
I don't know if Cajun had mentioned it. He was actually the editor on volume 4. Most times on these anthologies, I will ask one of the authors that's in our circle, or I'll pick a baby author and get them to be my Padawan editor on it to help them learn some of the editing stuff. And, you know, it's another boost for them and gets their name out there a little more on other things. And he was catching shit that I wasn't catching. But everybody's got a different set of eyes, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's my first go around editing. And I never really thought I would enjoy editing that much. So I got into it, started doing it, and going over all the stories coming in. And like I say, catching this and catching that. And it's got a different life, a different energy of it doing the editing side.
Let me ask this question about these short stories. Is it hard to keep it short? I mean, it may sound like a dumb question, but are you constantly trying to cut things that you're thinking this is too much? Because I know you have a limit on how far you want it to go. It is that hard process.
Anybody else want to answer before I jump in?
I was going to say it can work both ways. Sometimes it's hard to stay under what you need to, and sometimes it's hard to get up to the minimum too, just depending on how the story develops.
I can see that.
You got any input, Dewey?
Well, as I've started submitting, there's the upper limits, and I find I'm always hitting them. And my wife is always giving me crap about it. Like, I got to cut 100 words out of the story to get under the limit. She says, why can't you just write to the limit? But, it's like the last guy said, the story dictates what it's going to be. And sometimes you just keep rolling. And I was kind of afraid as I got going with this, as Andre, the main character, was telling his story, if I would get there fast enough. And I was lucky. I had to cut a little bit, but I got under the limit this time. But you want to let the story breathe a little bit. You don't want to rush it too much, right? Yep. So sometimes you have to do that.
Awesome. Michael,
did you get through working, Michael?
Uh-oh. No. Still can't. I'm so sorry. We can't hear you. Keep working, brother. We want to hear from you. Fight through it.
Did Hatfield come back?
I had to go into my settings on my browser and give it permission to use the mic. I was having trouble at first when I was trying to get in. It wouldn't let me because it wasn't picking up. But I'd go into the settings and give permissions to the camera and the mic on mine.
That's the only bad thing about technology sometimes is when it doesn't work. But sometimes, every online class I ever did, I'm the one that had mic trouble. It's crazy. But also, Tim, do you ever get asked to be Santa Claus? I love that beard. That's killer.
I do. I do that every year, especially for a group of foster kids. My wife used to work for the foster care system here in Kentucky, and they still call me every year to come in. She no longer works for them. She works for me now and helps me out with this side of the business. We're actually down at HoloCon down in Dalton, Georgia right now. So I took a break for a moment after dinner to come over here to jump on. So I won't be able to stay on too much longer. There's things going on tonight to get to, and she's being very patient with me here in the background at the moment. And but yeah, I love playing Santa Claus, especially the foster kids and so forth, and helping them out. And every once in a while, somebody will hire me for a private event too.
Yeah, well, you're just a hop and a skip from me in Dalton. I'm over here in Fort Oglethorpe, so not too far from you. Yeah. And thanks for coming on, and I appreciate the time you're giving us now. And also come back when you have more time. We'd love to let you share more. I'd love to learn more about you.
I'd love to. In fact, I'm going to meet with Hillbilly Sunday on our way out and have dinner and so forth, and we might be talking about a project next year. I ain't going to say any more than that unless he wants to.
No, we don't keep it under wraps till we get to talking and get the details.
That's what I figured.
Brother, I'm going to say this much. It looks like me and you have the same barber. And I don't know about you, but when I get to heaven, I'm going to find that hair angel and whip his ass.
Yeah. It started going a long time ago, and I was just going to say it's all going, and I kept it that way.
Yeah, I couldn't do the little fringe around the side. I just couldn't do that.
Nah.
Look
like some kind of friar monk like that.
Oh yeah.
Now, your question on whether to write long or short, it's tough sometimes. If you're just now creating this character, this universe, and all that, and you're trying to write the spec for whatever this anthology is, you tend to write a whole lot more than you really need to because you're doing the backstory, you're doing history, you're doing world building, and you're trying to incorporate everything. Now you have to figure out what to cut to keep the character still relevant and enjoyable, but you know that you don't need this, and this because that was their mama and their sister, and that don't matter right now. If you do a long form, that's stuff that you can drop in so that the reader gets a better idea of who the character is and get a better feel for them so they can connect possibly. But either way, whether it's long or short, it's tough. And if you're taking something that you've traditionally written as a short and turning it into a long form, it's tough when you're so used to you're wrapping this up in 10,000, 15,000 words. But the same, it's vice versa, taking a character that you wrote 70, 80,000 words with and now wrapping them up into this little teeny tiny little package. And you got to do basically a TV episode worth instead of the full length movie. And it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was, I told you before we come on air about the book I just read, The Zenith Man with McCracken Post. And they told him he wrote 177,000 or something words for this book. They wanted him at 90. They said, you got to cut. He got down to 103,000. He said, I can't cut no more. They said, we're good. We'll take it at that. But he goes around and gives talks about the book. And he says, I tell all the stories of the stuff that they wouldn't let me put in the book. I had to cut it. It just no room for it. He said, they're great little things. Like you said, got to drop that out. But sometimes it's, I just imagine it's hard when you're cutting like that to keep the seamless part of it there. So it doesn't seem choppy.
Well, not necessarily, because when we're doing world building, there's all this extra information that nobody cares about. Like, his second cousin twice removed was the guy that went to jail for, putting turtles in this chick's locker and things like that. And it could be one of those running gag jokes you just kind of reference to every now and then, but nobody has any idea what the hell they're talking about, But you still have to create that little bit, and you might have wrote 100 words just to create that little scene, and now you just tuck it away in your notes, But it's little things like that in the world building, like with my Braxton character. His mom is a complete douche. She's controlling. She's needy. She is the give me everything. I don't want to work type, the full entitlement. And, his brother is a gay underwear model in Atlanta, but that's been hinted at here and there, but never really shown. Well, I'm finally going to get to show it now that I'm writing a novel. And, I pulled some Jerry Springer stuff out, man. I mean, it's some deep seated Jerry Springer, Alabama kind of shit.
Instead of having be a gay underwear model in Atlanta, and I don't know what his name is, but could you name him Steve and have him somewhere in Ohio?
I think I had him like Judd or something.
Okay.
But therefore, I've got him placed in Chickamauga.
Oh,
there you
cool.
go.
Michael, are we any better?
I don't know. I think I got it.
We can
There
hear
we are.
you. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for being a person, persevering through that. Well, tell us about Michael and what you're involved with and writing, a little bit about you.
Brother Tim, whenever you need to go. And like I said, if you'll send us your email, or ours is certifiedpodcast@yahoo.com. Just shoot us one. We'll get back and forth. Anytime you want to come
Anytime, brother.
come on. Any.
I appreciate that. And we'll probably head on back to the con going on and so forth. And I appreciate being on here and talking with you fellows, and look forward to doing it good in the future.
Likewise, brother. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
I'll see y'all on Sunday.
Sounds good.
Tell Mama I said hey.
Well.
All right. Sorry there, Michael. Good. Let's hear about Michael Craig here.
Well, I've actually been writing for a very long time, but I've never been any good at it. It's only been over the last probably 3 or 4 years that I've managed to really kind of put together how all this works. I don't claim to be the brightest of writers out there, but it's been a really good journey, and not surprising, I suppose. Like everybody, I've got about 5 novels that are sitting in the filing cabinet that I need to work on, and dozens of short stories that I've been trying to do. But I was really honored to get into this anthology. This is the second one that I've managed to get into. Thank you. I appreciate that. And my characters are Taco and Sass. I mean, I've got a couple of people from my background. So I guess a little bit about me is I lived in a junkyard for about 3 years
Oh wow.
when I was a kid, and you had some pretty interesting characters in the junkyard. And what people may not understand is you got people like you know uh, the most idiotic geniuses in the world that can put together a Chevy Nova or something like that, but they couldn't scratch their name on the back of a check. And then you've got people that are like the redneck princess who is just as pretty as they come and with a mouth as foul as they get. And that's pretty much my inspiration for Taco and Sass is just having those characters that they may not come from much, but they've got a little bit going on and they're trying their best. And um, that's pretty much the goal of the series. A couple of people running a tow truck business and they just keep getting put into weird situations. Whether it's repoing a couple of brass coffins or a pirate themed riverboat.
I love it.
Well, I got to say, with your stories, I know Taco and Sass. I've known those people. I come out of Southern West Virginia. I've hopped all over the place. Lived in Goldsboro, North Carolina. Living down here in Chickamauga, and down in swampland, Florida, up in Youngstown. And I know these people.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I keep hearing from a lot of the readers is these characters, they know them, they've met them. And it's like, they're cousins and they're friends that they grew up with. And it's a comfort thing. They can relate to these characters. And I think that's one of the things that makes this series enjoyable is because people can relate to them.
Right.
And nobody else is doing this kind of stuff, really.
Yeah.
Well, when Larry Carina came out and introduced the trailer park fairyland.
Oh yeah, the trailer park elf.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought that was so incredibly insightful. I mean, what would modern elves look like in America? And you really got to look at, they would be in the woods, and who was in the woods in America but hillbillies? So it just made total sense to me.
Yep. And Larry was nice enough to actually do the opening on Trailer Park 2, and he told that story about the Trailer Park elves.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the first time I read that, I was like, I've got to write something like this. And I tried, a lot of different things, looking at local legends and stuff like the Oahe Mountain gnomes and, all sorts of things like that. But yeah, it's definitely a different take on things. And I appreciated that.
Well, and Taco and Sass definitely have to deal with a creepy one. I mean, this is one of those you're going to turn a light on if you're reading. It gets good and creepy.
Well, not surprising. I've already got an idea for the next one, and I got a year to work on it. So hopefully, I can actually put something together again next year.
Do you know what the sub theme is next year?
Prison Planet. Yeah.
Yep, Prison Planet Earth. We're playing with aliens.
I think it'll be fun. I've got some really good ideas for that. Of course, it'll change 3 or 4 times between now and then, but that's just the way it goes as a writer. But
yeah, there's no doubt there.
You talked about being able to get in the anthology. How does that feel? I mean, do you find out by email that you got accepted, like your story's going to be in? Tell us about that, because I've never asked that. I mean, what is that like? Because I know rejection is hard. To be accepted is great. How does that process work?
Well, it's nerve-wracking as hell, to be perfectly honest with you. You got to be patient because you don't know what's going on the other side of the setup. And I've never been a publisher, but I presume you got a whole bunch of people that are trying to get in, and everybody's trying to find out what's going on. And I'm sure that you spend about half your time just answering those kinds of inquiries where people are just bugging the heck out of you, just trying to figure out what the deal is. So I try to give a little bit of a leeway and break, and just kind of let things go. And and eventually you get the email and they'll let you know, hey, you got in or you didn't get in. And sometimes a perfectly good story just doesn't meet the criteria of the theme, and you just kind of got to accept that. I had one that got rejected by Canthor, and it got picked up literally the next day. I sent it in, and it got picked up a couple weeks later.
Wow.
So it just really depends on what they're looking for. And I've got a bad habit. My bad habit is you give me a theme, and I'm going to go dystopian, and I'm going to go cyberpunk, or I'm going to go horror. And not everything wants to lean that way, even though you try to kind of weasel your way into that kind of genre if you can. But it just is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about it on the show quite often. I'm a firm believer that all rednecks, all true rednecks, can't come from the panhandle of Florida, and they have spread out across the country.
No, get it right.
And
It's Lower Alabama now.
that's LA. That's no. They've migrated from the panhandle to Alabama and Kentucky
Well,
and Georgia.
I'm pretty sure that all the respectable ones moved west because that's where they're all at now.
Oh no, we got plenty of them right here in South Georgia.
Oklahoma's filled with them.
I've heard that. Where are you
Yeah,
from,
living
Michael?
in the I'm from Idaho, but I've lived all over the Northwest, and I can tell you that no matter where you go, folks is folks, and you're gonna run into them.
Oh, I've met
And
rednecks from New York and New Jersey before. But most people think, you hear New York and they think New York City, or they think the city, the main cities in Jersey. There's redneck backwoods just as much there as there are anywhere else.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, after 25 years in the service, I figured out real quick that you can meet rednecks from any state, anywhere, and whether it's Alaska or Utah, they're there.
Yeah.
Which
And-
branch were you in, Michael?
Sorry, what was that?
Which branch of the service were you in?
I was in the Army as an infantryman for about 8 years, and then I went to the National Guard, and I decided to be a medic for the rest of it. Managed to
Nice.
retire out as a first sergeant, and I don't know how that happened. I'm pretty sure that I got tricked into the job, but it was one of those things where they said, you're so good at this training aspect that we're going to put you in charge of it. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's no fun.
You got voluntold.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I was in the Navy and I was stationed over in Bremerton toward the end of my little career there. But I know we drove through Idaho coming back. And I firmly believe what you say about the rednecks there, because there has to be rednecks there. I was driving through those mountains, cutting down through. I was like, man, if they ain't rednecks here, they ain't rednecks nowhere. And that was a long time ago. So yeah, all the respected ones probably went there.
There's a website that I like. It's a Facebook page, and it's called Avoid Idaho, and it's just filled with all kind. I mean, everything in there is redneck, and you can see some of the most crazy redneck stuff, from the cars to the. I mean, they still talk about the people, the hermits that live in the caves along the Snake River, and I mean, it's just, it is what it is,
Well, let me ask this about the anthology. What is the end? Is there an end? Do you come to an end, or you just keep making them because they're so popular and people love them and are writing for them? As long
as I'm getting submissions, I keep doing them.
Okay, cool.
People enjoy them, and back to the earlier question, sort of earlier question. I usually get well over 100 submissions for each of these trailer park anthologies. And that started with Trailer Park 2, and it just took off. LibertyCon usually kicks off with it came from the Trailer Park panel. This year, next year's LibertyCon, I'll be running 2 D&D sessions based on Trailer Park, and whoever wants to jump in can jump in and enjoy the chaos because it's getting ready to happen.
Are they always released on Halloween? Is
yes.
that okay? Well,
the primary series is released on Halloween. We've done Double Wide Edition Volume 1 that we released on April Fool's Day, I think it was. Yeah. And we did volume 3.5 we released on April Fool's Day, and then Double Wide we ended up on Memorial Day this past year. Double Wide was 6 novellas instead of 12 short stories. So people got to do a little bit longer stories with their characters. And we're going to do some more of the Double Wide editions just because they're fun. They're the same size kind of book, fewer authors, but you get a better chunk of story per author.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit different, it lets people stretch their legs a little bit differently. Just, it's a wing it kind of thing.
Well, not speaking for Rob, but I think he'd be on board. Man, come back every Halloween, man. Let's keep coming back and celebrating this series. I love the series, and you have an invitation. And Rob, you love the books too, and we'll just make a party out of it and get these authors up at other times.
Hey, I'm game.
But come and be a part of it, and we will help push those books and highlight it because I look forward to them. I like the book series, man. Like I said, I've got to go back and read the ones before. I've into the new one now, but I'm gonna go back and read those.
I'll be right back, guys.
Sure. But it's fantastic. I love just hearing you talk about your craft and how you kind of got there and developed. And what's been the hardest thing that? Well, let me give you 2 questions here. What is the hardest thing about this, and what is the best thing about it?
For me or for all of us?
Any of you. Dewey, any of you. What is the thing that you say, this is the best thing about it? And then, because to do anything great, you have hard things that it's not as fun, or it's, what is it that drives you crazy or is hard or whatever you got to fight through to get to that great thing? If each of you answer that.
What do y'all jump in?
I'll go. It's Dewey. I'll go. I hear about writers. The question is, do you like finishing writing, or do you like the process of writing? Do you like writing or being done writing? And actually, I enjoy the writing part of it. Like when it's really flowing and you're telling your story and it's speaking to you, that's glorious. That's just really nice. And when you're done, you have that feeling of satisfaction. You got through it and you're happy with it, and you go back and you prune it and you play with it. But that feeling of just diving in to somebody's head, like for this story, like Andre started talking to me. I didn't know him. He just started talking to me, and I just channeled him, and that was just a lot of fun. And then finding out what the clowns were up to, that was fun. So I some people they call them plotters or pantsers. And the pantsers is the one who make it up as they go along. That's me. I might have a vague idea where I'm going, but most of the time I'm just going. And I just enjoy the process. I think the hardest part is showing the story to somebody else and then seeing what they're going to say. And you talked about sending in for submissions and getting that word back. When you get that email from that person, whoever you sent the story into, and the first word is thank you, that's a rejection. Right? Thanks for your submission. That's a rejection. You want to see something like congratulations, or here is the contract. for your story. You don't want to see thanks. Thanks is the worst. I got a rejection this just today, and the first word was thanks, and I didn't even have to open it. I knew it was a rejection,
Oh,
and it was a nice one. They said I made it to the second round, but that's the part that's tough because there's stories I've had rejected that I really loved, and I will tell you, I really want to get into this anthology, and I really loved my story, and I really wanted people to read it. And so when I was actually on a river cruise in the Netherlands when I got the email.
oh wow.
Yeah, and I was just like, I tell you, I almost cried a little bit because it just meant that much to me to be accepted and to get into the anthology and that someone liked the story. Because that's the thing, you write for yourself, but then you have to show it to somebody else. And then if they reject it, it feels like you're being rejected a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And I think Michael said things get rejected for all kinds of reasons, so you can't get too hung up on that. But man, when they say yes, that means they like the story. They really liked it. You know, that Sally Field, you really like me.
Yeah.
It's just it's one of the best feelings in the world, especially when you believe in what you sent in. So
Amazing.
that's how I feel.
Thanks for
Yeah,
sharing that with us.
that self-doubt is it can be pretty crippling even after you've published, a lot of short stories. I'm up to 8 at this point. And quite often, I'm like, well, they just needed one more to fill out the book, and you don't think about what the other side does. You're just like, well, they needed 9 stories, and mine was, one of the ones that they just pulled in at the end there. I mean, you've always got those doubts and thoughts, and it can be pretty difficult. I mean, I know a lot of writers give up because they have that feeling that they're just not good enough, even though that may not have had anything to do with why the story was rejected.
Well, let me ask you this: what do you do with those stories? Then do they sit? Do you revamp them, or what happens to them?
They become stories in other anthologies.
Okay.
So, honestly, one of the first ones I published with Three Ravens was for their dystopian series, and that one I wrote specifically for a small group project. We had our own little small group of writers, and we were trying to put together an anthology. And I went through and I did it, and I got it polished, and I got it professionally edited, and I was super super proud of the story. And the anthology fell apart. They couldn't get enough stories, and they dissolved it, and it just sat in a bin. And then when Three Ravens said, hey, we're doing this dystopian series, would you be interested? I was like, well, yeah, sure. So I went through and I kind of read through it one more time and submitted it. And then I sat there and I thought, what if I got the completely wrong theme? What if I didn't think about this, fully enough? And then, one day I was sitting outside having a glass of whiskey and playing with the dogs, and I got a phone call, and he was like, "Hey, this is a really good story. I like the story. We want to include it." And I was like, "Somebody called me. It wasn't just an email." And that felt really really good.
Wait,
Yeah.
which story was it? I don't remember now.
It was the city of Ouroboros.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, I wrote
Dude, I look at so many stories, and
exactly.
I've lost count of how many anthologies we've done at this point.
Well, like you were
It all
saying, I mean, you
starts to
go through a
blend
hundred of
together.
them. Yeah, when you go through 100 stories per anthology, and you do as many anthologies as Three Ravens did last year, I mean, I can't imagine you not getting, serious brain fatigue from all the stories that you're reading.
It happens. Trust me. I mean, the main reason I remember Taco and Sass is because they stand out in the trailer park because of what they are.
Yeah. Well, and how hard is it for you to tell somebody no, or is it just you just get oblivious to? I mean, how's that for you? I mean, because there's that side.
Well, I'm an author too, so I understand that side, and I hate getting rejections. At this point, I'm not submitting to anywhere else because I'm too busy doing Three Ravens stuff and then trying to write my own things. But the rejections I've gotten over the years, it just sucked. And that waiting game, it sucks. And I do not eat my cord. Stupid cats. No. I try my best as soon as the deadline hits to get through all the submissions so that I can get a response back to everybody so they can do whatever they need to do, shop it around to someplace else, whether they're sending it to Writers of the Future or they're putting it into another anthology or sending it to a magazine. They can do something with it.
Yeah.
But sometimes life gets busy and it just doesn't happen quickly. That part for me hurts because I understand the writer side and you want a response. You don't want to sit there on your thumbs waiting and waiting and waiting. One of the worst ones we had, it was like a year before we did any responses just because life went sideways so bad. We had my brother-in-law, I'm the one that took care of hospice for him at the end of the cancer run and then dealing with the widow and moving things back to Ohio. And it was chaos. So there was a couple of anthologies that got slid way to the back. The post APOC one, that was one of them. And I was actually doing reviews on that in November of that year on my way to Chicago for a writers convention. Basically any little time that I had, I was reviewing stories. So I go like, yes, no. And I put my notes in for why I liked them or didn't like them. But yeah, it's hard to do rejections because I understand from that side. I've gotten to the point now where I've tried to streamline and boilerplate it. So it's not as hard to do, but at the same time, I don't have time to reply to each and every person individually.
Yeah.
When we first got started, I was trying to give feedback to everybody, but we get so many submissions now, it's tough. That little bit of time to respond to a couple of emails, you're looking at an hour.
Yeah.
And when I get well over 100 submissions, you're talking about a couple of days in between day job, taking care of the kids, the wife, chores, everything else. So, the rejections have gotten down to it's a mass email. Everybody's blind copied. And sorry, but here you go. You're released.
Yeah.
And then the ones that are actually selected, well, actually, I send the contract offers to the selected ones first, and I wait to get the contracts back or acceptance back before I send the rejections, just in case I need to fill a hole someplace. And I've always got my backup ones. But I've actually had people like, oh, well, while I was waiting, I went ahead and submitted someplace else and I published it elsewhere. Like, well, okay, cool. Good on you. Moving on.
Yeah.
And it's tough to make the selections. I love the first Taco and Sass. This time around, man, it was neck and neck because there was another story that was really damn good. And it was really the voice of Taco and Sass that won that one. With Dewey's story, like I said, I wasn't sure what the hell I was reading at first. It's like, where is this going? And then it hit right about that third or that quarter mark of the story. It's like, oh, okay, here we go. Now we're on the roller coaster ride. Because right at the first, I'm like, I don't know if I want to publish this. This is getting a little weird. So making those selections is tough. And at the same time, I have to balance it. Now, this time around was a little easier because everybody's doing clowns. In all the other trailer parks so far, it's like you don't want two vampire stories back to back with each other, or you don't want two vampire stories that are really close to what each other are. So I tried to mix it up with different cryptids, whether werewolf, vampires, Mothman, whatever it was. And I'd mix up what was going on because, unless it's a werewolf anthology, you don't want all werewolf stories. Try to get some variety in there, and I picked the best out of the best. This time around, actually, I picked something that I hate generally. And one of the stories, I don't remember which one it was. It is a first person present. I don't like first person present in general because they're not written well. But this one actually, it hit home, and it's like, this is actually good. I like it. I want this, and I kept it. Or wait, was it Trailer Park? I've done so many anthologies. I'm pretty sure Trailer Park has one like that.
What is the deciding factor between? I mean, fit would be one, I guess, but two stories, you like them both, and you got one spot left. What would be it for you to push one over the other?
It comes down to content, readability. I mean, which ones I think that the readership are going to like better. What's going to be read and enjoyed more. That's when I really started looking at the sellability of it. Because honestly, Trailer Park, it just started out as a shits and giggles. Hey, this is going to be fun. Let's do this. I don't care if I make money. It's just going to be fun. And people liked it. And I try to keep that kind of mentality. But when I get down to that brass tacks of picking stories, and it's like, okay, well, which one's more sellable? Which one will the readership enjoy and come back for more?
Yeah. I got a question for you and Michael and Dewey. What advice? I mean, we're celebrating, your anthology release tonight. It came from the Trailer Park, and that's a wonderful, wonderful series. What advice would y'all give for somebody that's getting started off writing, facing that fear? Because there is, like you said, there's a big fear of rejection. There's a big fear of, the whole 9 yards. What kind of advice would you offer to people that are just getting started?
I'll let you guys jump in first because I could talk all night on that one.
Well, for me, it would be just remain tenacious. I mean, like I said, I've been writing for a very long time, and when I first started writing, I had a wall of text with very little in the way of punctuation, and it was a learning process. I didn't grow up, with the classroom being anything of interest to me. I wanted to hunt, fish, play baseball and do all those things. I didn't want to be in class learning English. So you got to be tenacious. You just got to keep going. And yeah, it's going to be hard. And sometimes you're going to get it rejected, but you don't know why things are rejected. And don't be afraid to ask. I mean, I've asked before, what was the problem with this story? And sometimes you'll get feedback and sometimes you won't, but take what you can get and run with it.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I feel like I'm just starting out. I kind of did my day job for a lot of years, and then I decided to concentrate on my writing again and try to get some stories out there. So it was just, finding places that had markets that I felt like I could offer them a story. So I didn't want to just throw something against the wall and hope it fit. I wanted to aim it at something that I had a story. Like, I didn't think I had a trailer park and clown story in me, but I did. And then I liked how it turned out. So I felt good about sending it in. I think you need to love it first before you send it to somebody else. If you're just writing it just to send it in, then you're not going to be doing a service to yourself or to the market you're sending it to. You're wasting everybody's time. So I think it's having that passion for it and feeling that you gave it your all, and then it's out of your hands.
Wow. So that's two pieces of really, really good advice there. Be tenacious with it, stick to it, and love what you do, and make sure it's a quality story in your mind before you send it in to anybody else.
When do you know that it's done? Like you can walk away and not mess with it anymore. You're not going to change anything. You know it's done for you. No, even punctuation, whatever. What is that Is that
It's ne-
hard or is
it's
that?
never it's never done.
Yeah.
It's never done. I can't remember who told this story. It might have been Harlan Ellison. There was a guy, he was a painter, and his painting was hanging in the Louvre, and they caught him trying to make changes on it, and they dragged him away. It's just hanging in the Louvre. You can't fix it. They say stories aren't released; they escape. Um,
Yep.
I just put together and self-published a collection of my stories, and yeah, you just keep going through them, and you find, oh, I missed this, I missed that, and you keep going through it. I was happy with my trailer park story. The edits were pretty light on it. So I think I did a good job of getting it in good shape before I sent it in. So
Yeah.
that one worked out pretty well, but a story I'm going to have published soon. The editors went over it really hard, but they made the story better. So that was valuable as well, because at the end of the day, if it's going to go into print, you want it to look good.
Yeah.
Well, I will speak from experience on that, both on the editor publisher side and the writer side. They're your darlings, and it does hurt when people start marking it up, but you need to look at it as that grain of salt. When you have a mark, look at it. Is what they're doing improving it, or is it a character voice thing that needs to be there? And that's where you've got to find that hill to die on, and decide, is this worth the fight, or do you save that for later on, where they've just tried to kill off this character that is so important later on in the series or something. It comes down to a lot of balance. I know when I got my first bunch of edits, the first couple of short stories I got published here and there, and my first novel publishing, it hurt, but I looked through them. I got pissed off. I walked away. I came back, calmed down, and then I looked at it with that critical eye of, okay, is there truth to what they've marked? And then went through it at that rate. And when it's a work of passion, and for me, every piece that I put down is passion, because I love doing what I do. And it's hard to see somebody else mark it up, but there's also that forest for the trees. There are so many words and letters that I have left out of the manuscript, but my brain has put into place, and I will never see that it's missing. But as soon as the wife goes through it, she's like, yeah, you missed this and this and this. Like, son of a bitch. Okay, fine. And I'll go back and I'll fix it. But, it's a forest for the trees thing. You know what was supposed to be there, and your brain has already put it there, whether it's in there or not. And as you're going through doing your edits, you're seeing it. So patience and a grain of salt when it comes down to getting those marks back from an editor. Because at the end of the day, it is a business, and they're trying to make the product better for the readership so they enjoy it more.
Yeah.
And most of the small publishers that I work with and deal with, and there's a bunch of us that actually work together and share authors and information and stuff like that. We don't like divas. If you're going to be that holier than thou, my stuff is great and nobody can tell me it's wrong. It's like, yep, sorry, I can do without you.
Yep.
Because that's the last thing that any of us want to deal with, because we've all got day jobs and families. We've already got drama in our lives. So, I mean, good old fashioned Southern hospitality is a good thing to look at.
Yeah.
Because it goes a very, very long way. Respect goes a very long way when it comes to both ways. And if you get an editor that's just a complete ass, if it's your first run, maybe just to get that notch under your belt, but you can always walk away. If it's not published, you can still step out.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that applies to the big picture too. I mean, you look at it as a writer, and the whole story, the character arc and the story arc, And there are elements that you may not even realize are missing in a storyline.
Mhm.
And when you have a good editor, they read the storyline and they can say, okay, this is weak because it doesn't have this emotional arc for the character. There's no development going on here, and it makes a big difference. Having a good editor or a good partner that you're working with in writing is so huge because
Yeah.
without it, you go blind to it. I mean, I mentioned earlier that the publishers read 100 plus stories per anthology, or and then you figure if they do 10, 12 anthologies a year, how many stories they're reading. you know but if they can see that you got that good arc going, or that good development going, that's going to make all the difference.
Well, did I ever mention I'm tired? There's a reason for that. And by the way, Michael, I'm going to be doing pitches or taking pitches for novel length for Trailer Park in the near future. So, hint, hint.
I'll keep that in mind. I haven't successfully completed a novel yet. Actually, I submitted that one uh, not too long ago, but I haven't heard back yet. But you know, having 4 or 5 or 6 of them in the cabinet is kind of nice. You can always go back to them, and taco and sass are, something I can work with.
Yep. Well, the shared universe stuff that we're getting ready to start accepting pitches on for the novels, I'm looking at short novels, 40 to 60,000 words. So, little bit more than a novella, but still.
So taco and sass, right again.
Yeah,
Well, there's lots of
absolutely.
ideas. I think that the great thing about that is that people that haven't quite transitioned to being able to put down 80, 90, 100,000 words, making that slow development makes a big difference because it doesn't seem like it when you're listening to it or reading it, but 70,000 words is a lot of words. I mean,
Yep.
to keep everything together, to keep that storyline cohesive, that character arc, the characterization. I mean, it's real easy to just have a bad day and write your character poorly. I mean, I know that sounds weird, but it's so true.
Yep.
It's like I just got done watching The Yearling, and all of a sudden my main character for my story goes from being a badass woman to being a soft, weak person, and it just all these things factor into how you write. So yeah, it can be challenging.
Well, that's also one of those things with, long fiction versus short fiction. You're not going to get into those kind of beats, but on long fiction, you need to have the action peaks, and then you need to have the lulls where the characters are doing research or they're trying to take a break, or you're getting character development in between, and then you have that next peak of action going on, so that you're not always just way up here running. And
Right.
it allows you to expand on these characters and hit those points that people can connect with. They're relatable things. Grandma may be knitting off in the corner in her spare time when she's taking care of the compound and making sure everybody's eating enough.
Yeah.
And
She may
everybody
be over
knows
there,
that grandma.
she may be
Let
over
me
there knitting in the corner and sharpening up her knitting needle so she can go stab somebody in the eye later on.
Yeah, zombie apocalypse. Grandma's ready no matter what, but she's got to make those cardigans or sweaters
Yeah.
because winter's coming.
let me ask you this, because I don't do it. I'm not saying I do it well, but I do puppets, a little bit of puppets here for the podcast. I cannot do that every day, or let me say it this way: I got to be in the right frame of mind to do that. Is it that way with writing? Do you have to be in a certain place for this to happen, this magic? Because I'm telling you, there's times I went to go do the puppets and I said I can't do it. It's not there. It's weird. But is that way with writing? I just wonder if there's a correlation.
That depends on what kind of writer you are, and that is a definitive break between the hobbyist and the professional. The hobbyist will write whenever the muse strikes them. They get that moment, they have the time, and they'll do it. And, they might produce a novel every 5 years or something, or they might do one short story a year. The ones that are considered professional are generally the ones that are trying to get into everything they can. They're trying to produce to get it out there and get published with publishers. So it's butt in seat, fingers on keyboard. And you set your schedule. I get up at 0400 most mornings so I can put words down. I write during my lunch break. I get home, I roll the bike in here, I close up the shop door, and I sit in my barber's chair and I dictate so I can get that next chunk done, and then I'll go back to editing the next morning. Right now for me, it's all about production. I'll go on a walk. I mean, hell, I went on a 2-hour walk, did 8 miles with a 40-pound ruck, and I dictated 2 short stories during that time.
Wow.
Now that was just dictation. I still had to go back and do the edits and clean up and formatting and, grammar and all that kind of stuff and punctuation. But I got the meat of the story in place for 2 short stories in 2 hours.
Okay.
I totally get that. I did that with my dog walks. I can go through and I can just start dictating ideas and just let things develop. And, I'm often surprised at how things work out.
Yeah. And, you're still a writer if you're producing that one novel every 5 years or the one short story every year. It's a comfort level. It's where do you want to be and be happy with where you're at. You don't have to keep up with the Joneses type of thing. There's some of us that this is where we want to be and we want it to be our day job. But if you're perfectly happy doing your regular day job and things like that, and this is just your little side gig so you can go to the cons and hang out and sell some books every now and then and have a good weekend at the conventions, then, that's cool. Nobody should knock any other author for the way they're doing it. If they start snubbing their nose at you because you're only producing, one short every year, they're probably not worth your time.
Yeah.
That's one of the divas that you want to just walk away from.
I think you actually touched on a really good point there. I mean, at some point you got to decide at what level are you going to pull that trigger, what level are you going to dive into this, because it's real easy to spend a year, write a short story, submit it around. Maybe you get picked up, maybe you don't, but going to the cons, getting involved in all of the interactions. I mean, for a lot of people, that's a difficult thing to do. I mean, to even relate to yourself as actually being a writer and not just somebody who happened to write a short story that got published. I think pulling the trigger is a big deal.
Well, and, tapping back to the cons, anybody out there trying to figure out how to go about this, it took me forever. I mean, I grew up in Southern West Virginia. My English teacher, lit teachers, they had no clue what direction to point me. I was writing back then and had no idea what the hell I was doing. And, I ended up in the military, jumping around the world. I was taking notes down of things, but I wasn't really writing anymore until I hurt myself in service. And then one of those times that my back was out for like 2 weeks, I just started creating my fantasy universe and actually starting to write. And basically for the next 20 years from that point, I was trying to figure out what I was doing and how to go about doing it. And until I went to my first convention, which was LibertyCon, I didn't find that information. I didn't know who to submit to. I didn't know where I could turn to for how to go about things and formatting and proper submissions and how to create the voice. All I knew is what I had read, and I was trying to duplicate, which a lot of that at the time was H.P. Lovecraft and Robert Jordan and Robert Howard.
Oh yeah.
So I was writing in that older style that nobody really wanted to touch because there was a lot of telling in it. So, if you look on southernfandom.org, I think it is, at least in the South, there is a listing of all the conventions in the South, which actually reaches out to like Iowa and Nebraska and stuff like that, and goes all the way up into Virginia and all. And go to one of these conventions, go meet other authors, talk to your peers, and learn from them. The simplest way to get information from some of these people, buy them a drink at the bar. I mean, anybody know Kevin J. Anderson? I buy him a beer every time I'm at a con with him, and we'll sit there, we'll shoot the shit for an hour or two. I mean, a great guy, amazing writer, amazing person. And, he'll go on these hikes all over the West and just dictate.
Mm.
And that's how he gets most of his words down, is he goes on a hike and he dictates. But talk to people, and don't be afraid to talk to people. But yeah, rule of thumb, go to BarCon. BarCon is that paneling is done and all the authors are hanging at the bar. Find out who you really want to talk to, who's writing in your genre or is similar in your style, and go pick their brain. Buy them a drink, buy them a snack. It's one of those ingratiations. And the unwritten rule of thumb is you've got until they finish that drink or snack to pick their brain. When they're done, they might move on to the next person. And they might have a line of people trying to get their attention. Now, if they're higher up, they might have a group of people waiting to get their attention. So, you just have to play it by ear sometimes. Brandon Sanderson, he's going to be at JordanCon next year. Good luck talking to that man. And as far as I know, he don't really hang out after paneling. He kind of hides off. But getting the opportunity to talk to Brandon is not going to be easy.
Well, I think there's also the point that, the East Coast, you have a lot of conventions, a lot of places you can go. West Coast is totally different. I mean, one of the big struggles that I have on the West Coast is that you've got the big convention out of Seattle, some small ones out of Portland, and then everything else is out of California. And, unless you really want to go to California, which most of the people in Washington, Oregon, and Idaho don't want to do, it's a difficult thing to find a good convention. And like many of the conventions that I'd like to go to, I'm going to have to fly to the East Coast to go to them, because there's just not a lot here. I mean, it's one of those. It's just one of those things. But again, that's what I was talking about with pulling the trigger. Is you got to decide how much you want to get into it. Do you want to spend the money, to fly to Atlanta or fly to New York or whatever the case may be?
Well, now, okay, on the West Coast, I will say you've got a couple of options out there. For 2026, well, actually, and up north, in Deerfield, Illinois, in 2026, there is the Evanston Writers Workshop in the trenches, and I'll actually be one of the guests for next year. I'll be teaching and doing pitches and stuff like that. This is a true writers conference. It's not a convention like we're used to in the South, where it's writers, it's agents, it's editors, it's small publishers, and it's all about business. So there's that one coming up September. Yeah, into September 2026. There is the PNWA Pacific Northwest Writers Conference that's happening in Seattle next September. I'll be there taking pitches and teaching there too. There is, oh crap.
I'm thinking about going to that Pacific Northwest Conference. I've had a couple of people try to get me to go to that one.
Yeah, well, I'll be there next year. They're bringing me back as a guest again. There's Life, the Universe, and Everything in Salt Lake City. That's similar to LibertyCon here on the East Coast. They're a small writer-centric con, but there's still the fandom element attached to it. And it's more genre fiction, so science fiction, fantasy, horror, that kind of stuff, urban fantasy. But they're out there. There's also Superstars Writing Seminar in Colorado Springs that happens in February. Now, Evanston, Pacific Northwest Writers Conference, and Superstars, you're going to pay. These are writers' conferences. They're not fandom cons where you can walk in for $50 for the weekend. You're paying upward of about $700 to attend these conferences. And if you want to do the pitch sessions or any of the special workshops that they have, you're paying extra. So again, cost to bullshit ratio, where are you? Where do you want to be? And you have to balance that. I mean, I'm at the point now that as a writer, anytime I go someplace, I'm taking notes. I'm looking at everything. I'm examining because I might be able to use this in one of my stories someplace. Hell, you see that girl right there? My tax guy wrote her off last year because I write biker fiction.
Nice.
That's the point that I'm at in my writing career of I'm looking for tax breaks because of what I'm doing. And right now I'm scrambling to get my first official biker novel written and out before the end of the year, just because I don't like Big Brother and I don't want him coming after me. So I need some proof that write-off is good.
Well, we can agree right now that there should be a biker anthology, because I know a lot of us that are in this genre, in the general genre, are also enthusiasts.
Well, that's coming. If you hadn't looked at our open calls page, that's one of those things that's coming for pitches for next year. But yeah, I mean, you really have to find that balance of where you want to be and how much effort do you want to put into this. Like I said, I get up at 0400 every morning. The wife hates it because my alarm goes off, but I get up, I go in there. The coffee's already brewed because I've set the timer on the thing. I get my coffee. I stumble over to the computer. I do a quick look at a couple of things, and then I get to work.
Yeah.
And, that's my schedule. I have set my schedule so I can get production done. And every chance I get, I'm putting words down. I take one of the kids to a doctor's appointment. Cool. Go to your doctor's appointment. I'm going back out of the car and I'm dictating the next couple of lines.
You
Down to the point I'm on the shitter and I'm typing because that's where I want to be. I want to get that next scene completed so I can move on to the next one. And the next one after that.
Let's be honest.
I think that's really
not
big.
on their phones anyway when they're on the crapper.
Well, yeah, exactly. And, I'd rather put it to production than just sit there and doom scroll all day long. But again, that's where you've got to find your balance and figure out where you want to be with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to be okay with it. And that's what a lot of baby authors haven't gotten to yet. They haven't figured out. They've got all these grandiose ideas, but they haven't figured out exactly where they want to be. They want to make those millions, but you know what? Being an author, you're a 1 in a million if you're making those millions.
Right.
Yeah, you've got to put in the time and you got to put in the work, and it's
it's just like bands. There are no overnight successes. They put in the work for the last 15 years before they hit it hard.
Yeah.
I mean, Brandon Sanderson didn't hit it hard because he wrote one thing and it was like, oh my God, no. It took him a lot of work and effort, and he was hustling and making those connections at BarCon, at all these conventions that he was going to. That's how the gigs work.
Do you always feel like you have that greatest story that you're going to write still out there? It's still.
Oh God, yes. That's a curse.
Oh yeah, totally.
That's an evil curse hanging over my head of it's going to be the next one. It's going to be this one.
Okay.
My thing is, I've got my ultimate story, the one that has been brewing in the back of my head for years and years and years, and it's like, yeah, you want to just jump out there and tell it, but you want to tell it well. You want to give it the best possible effort that you can. And when you know that you're not there yet, you just hold on to that. You just kind of wait. But yeah, I've got that one story that I'm like, I'm convinced that once I actually write this, I'm going to be richer than Elon Musk.
I love it. I love it.
You know, my original novel that I put out, Flux Runners. Everybody that read it loved it, and I've actually gotten some feedback from Tony Weiskopf over at Bain. She's like, "I know you can do better." Like, yeah, I know, I know for a fact that I can now because I know more than I did when I wrote that thing. I put that out in 2019, and I've got a path to get back to doing Flux Runners and finish that 6-book series after I've edited book 1. But I need to develop part of the universe, which means I need to do these things first and then do these things. Now I can go back and go back to my friends and have a hellacious time romping through the universe and do what I need to do there. It's a big learning curve sometimes to be able to get where you want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My Braxton stories, they've been nothing but short stories up to this point, even though I wrote a chunk of the original novel years ago, and I outlined the entire novel along with 2 others, but it wasn't time. I still needed to develop the character and figure out who the hell he was and what his universe looked like. And now after, hell, I've got well over 100,000 words in short stories at this point with this character. It's like, it's finally time. I know who he is. Now it's time to do book 1, which is actually his backstory at this point, and go from there.
Just let me say, and I've never written anything, but I give this to you as a gift. I want to thank you because as someone who just reads them, I enjoy the journey. I love it when it takes you places you didn't expect to go, and you can't put it down. You're aggravated, you get pulled away because you want to read. You're in the story, you're invested in it, and without you fellas doing what you do, we wouldn't have that. And it's completely enjoyable, and I can't wait for the next thing to come. And I've read since I was a little boy, and I just love that story. Now I've read stuff that was hard to get into, but usually the stuff that I'm familiar, like I've already had, you kind of get used to. It's like an old friend. You just know they're going to give you something that you like. It may be completely different than what it was before, but it's a friend, and you just taking on that journey. It's you're sad when the story's over. I mean, it's like, oh man, that was great. But thanks so much for that, guys. I think I just say thank you.
Well, I mean, that was just like Taco and Sass. When I saw that Michael had submitted another story, I'm like, oh hell yeah. Because I enjoyed the first one so much, like I really want to read the next one.
Yeah.
The headliner, well, not the headliner, but the opening story for Trailer Park Volume 5. Rodney Hatfield's story. I don't remember the name of it now. He had submitted for the last 3 or 4 trailer parks, and it just wasn't hitting the mark for whatever reason. He had things that were just like way too out there, or this or that. Man, he reined it in this time, and he finally found that groove that was just like, my God, okay, yeah, I got my opening story now.
That's cool. So cool.
Well,
I think we lost Dewey to the movie.
I don't know if we lost Dewey. We lost Michael. He had his wife was said the little lady had supper ready. So.
Oh, okay.
I told him I put the link up in the private chat so y'all can shoot us an email if you would. Now I have a feeling, I'm not 100% sure, but I got a feeling, I'm a geek, and I heard you talk about D&D earlier, and I love D&D. And I got a feeling that a lot of authors out there and writers are going to be in that same class of geekness. And I know from DMing that you may have this whole big, glorious plan for how your campaign's going to go. And the players just come in and reckon it goes somewhere completely and totally different than you weren't expecting. Does that happen in writing?
You want to jump in on that, Dewey?
Yeah, I mean, I've had that happen. That you're going and you think the character's going to do something and they do something else, and you're like, well, I got to go with it. Because if you fight it, then it's going to be artificial, right? And it's going to be you're putting constraints on it, and it's going to be awkward. So you got to let the characters tell you where the story's going to go. And yeah, that's what I found, because I don't plan a lot, so that's okay for me to do that. But I know I was writing one story, and I'm like, this character started admitting something, and I'm like, oh crap, I didn't mean for this to happen now, but it's happening. So it I just had to go with it, and it actually created more story by this character saying what they did at that moment and admitting that thing. So I think you find a lot of surprises if you don't dictate too much and you just let it happen.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is your characters in the story are akin to being the players in D&D that are wrecking the DM's carefully planned campaign.
Oh, that without a doubt, man. I mean, I've had so many times that I had that general roadmap kind of outlined out of I want this and this and this to happen. Yeah, no, we're way the hell over here in Albuquerque all of a sudden, having Mai Tais with strippers, and it's like, what the hell just happened?
That happens in D&D campaigns. That's what I'm saying. There's a certain level of
Exactly.
geekness,
But you never know where it's going to take you either. So,
okay. Now I got a personal question for both of you. Who is your absolute favorite author?
ooh,
It can be from any genre.
See, it's hard for me just to do one, but I'd say right now, Stephen Graham Jones is the guy for horror for me right now. S.A.
Okay.
Cosby on the crime side is the guy that I'm really into right now. Those two of the newer writers, those are ones I really, and I'll always love Stephen King and Joe R. Lansdale.
All right. What about you?
I mean, hands down, Robert Howard.
Okay.
I love everything the man wrote. On top of that, Douglas Adams, Louis L'Amour, H.P. Lovecraft. I mean, I grew up reading a lot of classics because they were classics and I can get them in Southern West Virginia. Anything in the standard genre fiction type stuff was the devil.
Yes.
And it wasn't allowed in the house. You couldn't even find it in the school libraries. So, Robert Louis Stevenson and all them, they're great reads, and they give you a perspective into another time.
Right.
More modern, Robert Jordan, Taylor Anderson. I mean, he's a buddy of mine now, but I love his Destroyer Men series. And I'll call him up and holler at him and yell at him because he killed a particular character or he done something stupid, and I've caught a mistake in his work. So that's kind of cool. I can pick at him about it, but he's created such a diverse universe that it really makes you think, and it makes you want to create something similar.
Right. Well, I know way back in the 80s, way back then, For Christmas one year, my uncle got me the first 4 of the Dune books written by Frank Herbert. And
Okay.
it was Dune, Dune Messiah, Children of Dune, God Emperor of Dune. And I read and reread and reread, and I absolutely fell in love with Frank Herbert. And because, he crafted this world. And now I carried over some of his other writings because I wrote, the Jesus Incident and Man of Two Worlds. There were several other in the other series that he wrote, but I absolutely fell in love with it. And then I read the next books that he wrote, and then he passed, and I of course had to finish. I had to read all the ones that his son, Brian and Kevin J. Anderson wrote, and it was, I absolutely fell in love with that setting and that universe, and it just stuck with me my whole life, ever since I was in high school. And to this day, I still read.
Let's pop up some of the books before we get out of here tonight so people can see them that may be watching that do not know. And of course, let me back up here just a bit because we are talking about the trailer park here and the clowns, and that's great. But also we've got the carnies. I haven't got to this one yet. I can't wait to read this one.
That is the first Braxton novel. It's in work right now.
Okay.
Very cool.
That's coming. And
Awesome.
if you've been reading Trailer Park, you've already met Braxton Hicks. That's my main character that I write. And for the Trailer Park series, actually pretty much any of the anthologies, I'll write the cover story. So whatever you're seeing cover image wise, that's probably my story.
Okay, cool. And then of course the other trailer parks and the double wide editions as well. And of course this was my first one, the Elvis. That was great. I have a question off of the artwork too, but that's great. Then the some of the others here, and you have military, which is great. And I think Rob, you're reading
Joint Task Force 13.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Joint Task Force. We've got Legends, Sea
Yeah.
Serpent.
So that falls under military fantasy. So mixed military units dealing with supernatural threats on the battlefield.
Yeah. And they're drawn to war. If there's like battle or war or stuff, it thins out the line.
The veil
between
thins between worlds.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
They're great.
Well, you ain't got the image up, but I've actually got the slogan for JTF.
Oh,
right
okay.
there. I got it in ink. Between heaven and hell, man. Okay, so I see Car Wars. That is our Car Warrior series, based on the Car Wars game by Steve Jackson Games. We got a licensing contract with them. So if you like cars, if you like action fiction, this is something for you. So think NASCAR, Demolition Derby, and guns. It's about the arena battles. It's about the shit going down and people using cars and guns to get it done.
I'm in.
Now, Wave Song, I'm currently reading now. Your next one there beside Go Hard or Go Home. I'm currently reading
Wave
now.
Song is it's got that vibe of Hunt for Red October. It's that 80s thriller type. And Michael did an amazing job on that.
So, yeah. You got
the one thing with JTF is it spans basically pre-Revolutionary War to modern day.
Wow.
So we've got stuff in World War I, Civil War, post-Civil War, 80s. We've got Desert Storm era. We got one coming for the more modern OEF, IAF, Afghanistan area.
One of the things that has amazed me with the Joint Task Force 13 is the range of critters or the supernatural beings that you run into. Mm-hmm. I mean, thus far I've seen. I don't want to give too much away, but I can tell you some of the stuff I've seen. I've seen trolls. I've seen krakens. I've seen a vampire. I've seen a demon. I mean, and there's some other supernaturals, a bunch of other supernaturals out there as well. Well, the Whistle of the Wendigo, I can say that out there. That's the title of the book. But yeah, it's such a wide variety, and these people have to figure out, well, okay, what do we do now?
And as you go through the series, especially depending on the timeline, you'll find that the author has tapped back to the existing stuff and dropped in some hints of the historical stuff before it.
Yes.
So, like in Whistles of the Wendigo, it references back to Witch Hunt and Casey Moore's novel. And she actually tapped a couple of his characters and brought them in because it's post Civil War, and they end up meeting young Annie Oakley, which she did an amazing job of writing that and putting into perspective of how she grew up and became who she was. You know, she learned how to shoot because she was feeding the family.
Yeah. And another thing I noticed too was she actually followed the historical side of some of the battles that happened during the Civil War.
Yeah.
That a lot of people had left out. And what do you think about putting in there? I mean, like the Battle for New Orleans, you know?
Yeah.
And actually figured out in the book and how to go about and tie it all in together. And she did a very good job with that.
That's one of the hard things on the editing side of making sure that the facts are correct. Yes. And generally any kind of historical figure, we try not to make them a major character, but they can do a cameo. That way we're not screwing with history and historical. We don't want the historians coming down on us and like, thou shalt not, like, okay, shut up, go away. Because they do that. So, you know, historical figures can make a cameo, but that's about the extent of it. But the research involved in making sure that those historical moments and references are correct is pretty daunting sometimes.
Oh, I imagine. I mean, because there were several battles that they referenced in that one, and they were all real battles. And it was every one of them. And they had their tie-in, but that was amazingly done. Hats off to them.
Yeah,
what's these here? Wild Magic.
That one is a fantasy anthology. Faith Hunter ended up giving us a anchor story for that. We actually created that anthology based on the story. She's like, hey, here's this. Can you do something with it? And I'm like, oh crap. And we made an anthology based around that story. And that's actually one of the anthologies that lingered for a while because of just so much life, and we finally got it out.
Wow.
And then I ended up getting the artwork from Melissa Gay for that one, and it turned out absolutely beautiful. I love that cover. The subject in that cover is Amanda Makepeace, because they had gone off on an artist retreat at some point and just did a bunch of like not motion study, but character study kind of photography. And then she ended up coming back and painting that painting based on some pictures that she took of Amanda while they were out hiking in the woods.
Wow.
Very cool. Very
entry
cool.
level.
If you want a little bit of a blast from the past type 80s thing, the portal to the other universe is actually in that back room where the porn's stashed. And dude ends up on this wild ride in an alternate universe trying to get home. It is crazy fun. I love that thing from the get-go. That ended up in, we ended up getting like over 400 submissions in 1 month at one point.
Wow.
And I closed submissions down because like I can't keep up with this. But that was one of those that like it was that gleaming gem among the rough. And I absolutely loved it.
How in the world would you explain that to your mom? You went to the video store, it got transported to a parallel dimension in the porn room in the back. How would you ever explain yourself?
It's a wild ride, but it's also got those nostalgia points
Yeah.
because of how it's set up, and when dude ends up coming back, the video store is no more. His entire life is gone because everything's
no.
changed.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, folks, y'all look up threeravenspublishing.com and enjoy some great books. You can get those in so many different ways, many audio, Kindle, whatever. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to do that.
Go to the website, look under buy our books, and you can scroll down through there. At the top, there's a header that's got the different genres. So if you like fantasy or science fiction, or you're looking for YA or kids books, you click that, it'll take you down to the section. You can scroll through those. But otherwise, it'll take you straight to Amazon where you can pick up the books. That's our primary selling point right now. If you want paperbacks, hardbacks, things like that, you can buy them through like Walmart, Target, whatever your normal retailers are. Let's see. Some of our books are in things like Kobo and Apple and some of the other e-readers besides Amazon Kindle. And we haven't gone wide with everything, but some of the stuff is wide.
Yeah.
But most of our things are in audio. I am behind on our audio schedule, and that's on me because time and life.
Yeah.
But we put everything into audio because why not?
Well, I know a lot of people do audio. I cannot do it. I can't do it. I've got to read it. I don't know why. I can't get into the audio. That's just me personally.
For me, I mean, I've worked in engineering for over 20 years at this point, and that has been a savior for my sanity because I can sit there and do those monotonous shop drawings and things like that and be off on an adventure someplace. And it's gotten to the point now that I can't listen to an audiobook on normal speed. I'm listening at like 2.5 to 3 times speed. And now it's actually clicking because, that's another one of those production things. I've gotten used to listening to submissions with Natural Reader or some of these other readers out there. And the faster I can get through it, the faster I can decide. So it seems like they're talking like they're in molasses when it's at normal speed at this point.
That's funny.
And granted, it depends on the narrator too.
I was it's so easy to order. I wanted to pre-order, and I was sitting in line at Hardee's waiting to get up to the window, and I just pulled up the phone, and it's a one-click thing. I just punched in I think I just punched in Three Ravens, or it came from a trailer park or whatever. Anyway, it popped right up, made the click, and had it, got the confirmation email, and of course it delivered and charged, when it got to the day. But it's nice. It's so easy, and I knew that book was there waiting on me, and it's very fun. Now I'm an old school guy. I do like to have a book in my hand, but I can do the digital. I'm good with it. In fact, it's very convenient. You can do it from anywhere. But I'm still a guy that likes a book in his hand. I do both. So.
I'll say this as well if you've got the Kindle and you have access to the Kindle library, you can. I found all the Joint Task Force 13 books on the library, and I check them out and I read them and I put them back. And y'all still make money on that, I know, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that y'all get paid for my enjoyment too. So but that is a very economical way if you want to read the books and read the series and have those stories. It's a very economical way to do it.
Yeah. Look in your local libraries, whether it's the ebook or the audio, because they do have them available in there.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So I went ahead and got all of them, I had enough room in my personal space there that I got all the Joint Task Force 13. As I read them, I saved them because I knew I was doing this show tonight, and I knew I wouldn't remember the titles if I didn't have them in my thing. So I've saved the ones that I've read, but I'm going to put them back now.
And I want to know what movie Dewey is watching right now. He's at the drive-in. That's a cool.
He said Dust Till Dawn and the second one, the sequel.
Oh, okay.
No. It's a Dust to Dawn. You start at 7:30 and goes to 6 in the morning. It's 5 movies. We don't know.
Wow.
We don't know
the whole series.
We don't know what the movie's going to be.
Oh, okay.
So it's called the Dust to Dawn. The first movie was Mausoleum, which I had already seen, so I got on the podcast instead. So I don't know what the second movie's going to be.
That's cool.
Okay, that's pretty cool, dude.
Yeah. Now, see, one of my favorite horror movies of all time was Phantasm. And I'm wondering what a redneck version of Phantasm would look like.
Oh, God.
It'd be a bowling ball. I'm sure it'd be a floating bowling ball. The bowling, like Baby Bowler from Mystery Men or something.
Man, we so appreciate you guys coming on, and I love the fact I want to network with every one of you, and y'all just let us know. We'll set up something too, and let you know we're doing something like that. But you're welcome on any show that we do. Send us. I try to look for any flyers and stuff that you're doing, book releases, and we try to highlight that as we go along. We appreciate the partnership. And we just want to be a help. We're fans, and we want to be a help if we can.
Well, if anybody wants to find out what's going on, what's releasing, go over to threeravenspublishing.com and sign up for the newsletter. It's up in the top left. If you are a Discord user, there's a Discord link to our Discord server, and you can join in the fun over there. We got tons of channels for a lot of different things, and authors are in there talking and chatting. And, if you like some of the stuff that we're putting out, you can potentially be talking to some of the authors of those series. But
I would love to do
that. Check us out.
Yeah.
And leave reviews. Reviews do matter, whether it's on Goodreads, Amazon, wherever you can leave a review about one of our books. It matters because people see that and they go and buy it. Now, we've gotten some 1-star reviews at times, and generally those 1-star reviews sell the damn book because they're like, it's just a bunch of short stories with rednecks. Like, okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. That's a good point. It's like Dave and I, sometimes, we get thumbs downs. It cracks us up. We're laughing our butts off,
If you're the type that you love to read and you love to give reviews, we're always looking for review readers. So hit me up at threeravenspublishing at gmail.com, and we could potentially sign you up on our early reader list so you get a sneak peek at what's coming out. Just leave us a review. You get a free copy, And, speaking of free copies, do you want to do the giveaway?
Sure.
Absolutely.
All right. So for the Southern Fried Podcast listeners, if you would like It Came from the Trailer Park ebook bundle, send me an email at threeravenspublishing@gmail.com that you listen to this podcast, and I will send you a bundle of ebooks in your format, whether it's Mobi, EPUB, or PDF, and you can enjoy the Trailer Park series up to this point.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Y'all take advantage of that. We've got some folks listening. Y'all make sure you do that. That's a tremendous offer. Thank you so much. And help spread the word, share their their social post off, share their webpage out, and let your friends know about Three Ravens, and just help promote them.
We have a page over on we have a page on Facebook, we have a page on Instagram, there's one on Nextdoor, LinkedIn. I mean, I've got pages everywhere. So, whatever your major social media platform is, See if we're there. Follow us.
Yeah. That's what it's all about. And I look forward to reading the book that's out. I look forward to reading other books in the different series, and the books that'll be coming that are still in your minds being mapped out in that crazy world and universe of whatever genre it is. And I don't know how you guys do it. It's amazing to me. I get ideas, but nothing like what you got. You guys have got some crazy stuff going on in your head. And I love it. I just love it.
Well, I got
Controlled
you up
insanity.
on Facebook now. And guys, y'all, I've got them pulled up on Facebook right now. It's real easy to find. Just type in Three Ravens Publishing and you're right there. If you don't see it there, I just followed them, so they'll be on the Southern Fried Podcast follow list as well. So,
and like I said, you can find our books on all the major retailers. You know, wherever you normally buy your ebooks or your print books, go and look. You'll probably find us, and you can find all of our titles listed on the website. If there's a particular author you like, we have an author page for our novelists, and you can go and follow them over on Amazon because I've got that link to their Amazon page. And then you can see what other titles that they have, you know?
Yeah. And I'm just started reading the book. I've got to get to Dewey's story because the way y'all have described this, I cannot wait to have this, quarter of the way into the story. And all of a sudden it just goes there. I got to get to that one.
Get your popcorn and get ready for the roller coaster because it's going to be fun, man. And you're going to be like, what the hell am I reading? It's almost like a Tarantino flick where it's like, I don't know where this is going, but it looks like it might be good. And then, oh, shit. Then it hits.
That's what I like. I like that big. It's kind of like, what's one of the things drew me to Frank Herbert, I think, because the first part of the novel, you're like, what the hell's going on?
Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden, everything comes together. You're like, ah. I love it. And that,
There was one of I think it was in the Elvis one that was 4, where the dude is in the cabin and the creature is trying to get in. That one had me hooked so bad, man. I read that one all the way through. I couldn't put it down. I can't remember who was the author, but oh my goodness, that one really got me.
Was that one? Oh crap! The Demon Rocks, or
he's in the battlefield in a cabin, man. Oh man, that story was wild. What the heck? That was the story for me.
I think that was crap. Robert's. Yeah, my brain is not working right now. That was Robert's story, I believe. Pet Rocks.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, you're right. That is it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is one of those. He submitted it multiple times, and he kept polishing it, and he finally got it. And it made the cut.
Yeah, that's cool. Like I said, you take us on a journey, and that's the joy of it. That's the mystery. That's the joy, and it's just amazing. I mean, that's all you can say. It is. It's the greatest form of. I mean it. And I will say this before we go real quick. I know songwriters, like they don't like to tell you what their inspiration is. Like they want you to absorb it the way you absorb it. What does it mean to you? And some of these stories, it may hit different people in different ways, but that's the art. That's the art of it and how it just kind of affects them. And, so many different people can get many different enjoyments out of it in different ways. So we're all geared different. We all got things that we like more than we like other things. And it hits us in a completely different way. That's cool. But y'all, thanks for being on tonight. So I really appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate you guys having us.
Hey, anytime.
Yeah, it's been a blast.
Yes. Hey, and Dewey, anytime you want to come back, just send us an email. Come on here. We want to promote you too. We want to promote Three Ravens, and y'all come on back anytime you want to.
Well, I want to provide my bona fides here. I live in Pennsylvania, but I was born and lived in Southern Virginia for the first 22 years of my life. So
Awesome.
I do come from fine white trash, so I'm good.
Well, hey, Dewey, where can we find your stuff? Because honestly, I don't know where else your stuff is.
Oh, well, I've just been publishing short stories, and I just self-published my a collection of short stories
Okay.
in the last couple of weeks. So it's out there. I'm trying to link all the books up on Amazon, so I can
Okay.
cross promote Trailer Park as well.
Okay,
So
cool.
hopefully that'll work.
Nice.
There you go. Yeah, that's one of the things we do here on the podcast. We try to help everybody out that we can. We do a lot of cross promotions and stuff like that. People helping people. That's what name of the game a lot of times.
Yeah.
It's like we go out, I know Dave's done it and I've done it. We go up to do a store, that caught our eye. And we're like, hey, would you like to be on the podcast? Well, what's that going to cost me? Nothing.
It's a good thing too. It's not everybody. I just get a feeling about it, and it's always right. It's never not right. I don't.
Well, hell, we initially met at the Green Eyes Festival last year.
We did. And I, of all the people that I talked to, you were my favorite. It was bar none. And I did meet another person who's a cryptid hunter, and we have a great relationship. That was great. But of all the vendors, nothing against them, but man, it was just a connection, and it was very cool. Some people were very cool to it. You reached out, you were very expressive, and you sold, man. You're a good marketer and good salesman, man. You put me, and when you introduced that trailer park, man, I was in, man. I was sold.
Just the name of that will hook you.
Absolutely, man.
Our show is about rednecks half the time anyway, so it came from the trailer park. That was amazing for us. We're like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. I grew up in the trailer park most of my life, so it hits home,
Yeah.
And like I said, those connections and that familiarity with those type of characters, and I guarantee you, when you read through here, you're going to find somebody that because you've seen that person, you've known that person, whether they're in your family, they're in your neighborhood, they're that crazy neighbor next door. I guarantee you're going to have some kind of connection to some of these characters.
And you may not want to admit it, but there'll be a connection.
Well, yeah, that's true. You may not want to admit it.
Well, guys, thank you so much.
Appreciate it, y'all.
Happy Halloween, happy Friday. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the movies, the all night. That's cool. I've never done that. I don't know if I could. Back in the day when I was going to drive-ins, I don't think I could have survived all night.
I did a 24-hour marathon a couple of weekends ago.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's so cool.
What was that, horror or just anything goes?
24 hours of horror.
Wow.
Please tell me they had at least one Freddy Krueger movie.
Not this year.
Oh, it ain't Halloween without Freddy. The burn up Wolverine. I'm sorry, that was bad. All right. Well, guys, y'all have a great weekend. And thank y'all so much for being on tonight. We greatly appreciate it. And y'all don't forget to send in your submissions for the drawing is at 3 Ravens Publishing or 3 Ravens Publishing at Gmail. Is that where you said to send it to?
Yep, at gmail.com.
At gmail.com. 3 Ravens Publishing, gmail.com, and they'll get you up to this one. It came from the Trailer Park series.
Awesome.
Yep.
So,
and just make sure to mention the Southern Fried podcast so I know where it came from.
There you go.
So much.
Thank y'all very much.
Everybody have a great night.
Absolutely.
You too. Thanks.
I gotta find my. I go through this every time.
Hit the button. Come on, you can do it.
I gotta hit the button. Don't put pressure on me. There it is.
Southern Fried Podcast. sitting on the front porch on a Friday night with our friends. Life is good.